Give us situation report on ground. What has been going on and what is happening right now?
In the House of Representatives, where a public investigative hearing on activities and spendings of the Niger Delta Development Commission has been going on. First, we had the acting managing director of the Nddc, that's Professor Ponde, receiving loads and loads of questions from honorable members. First, they asked him about the issue of 1.5 billion naira that was spent on COVID-19 palliatives. There were allegations and counter-allegations that the Nddc allocated to themselves 1.5 billion naira COVID-19 palliatives. The MD debunked those claims. He told them that the figure was not actually 1.5 billion naira, but 1.3 billion naira. And he said it was actually allocated for them in the 2019 budget. Again, the honorable members came with a second question that talked about 81 billion naira that has been allocated to the Nddc from January 2020 to May 31st, 2020. The MD, Professor Ponde, also debunked the claims and said it was not actually 81 billion naira, but 74 billion naira. Then the shocker, a very big one that came, they were accusing the MD of paying over 341 million naira to Clear Point Communications. This money, according to honorable members, was meant to give to locals in the Niger Delta to pinpoint projects that are going on in the Niger Delta area. These projects were actually executed by the Nddc, and they are paying 341 million naira to locals in the Niger Delta to locate these projects in the same region. So that was where everything just came to a standstill. They were accusing Ponde of extra budgetary spending, and at that point, Ponde collapsed. He was rushed out of the public hearing room, and this is where we are at this point in time, Aaron.
Abel, these are very important questions that at the end of the day we are going to need answers to at some point or another. But it is 1:35 now, and we did hear before the panel or the probe was adjourned that it was going to be resuming at 1:35. What is going on now at the National Assembly? Does it look like the probe is about to resume?
I couldn't really get you clearly, but you were saying something about the public hearing about resuming again. Yes, they actually adjourned after that incident for over 30 minutes. It's not up to 30 minutes, but in a matter of a minute, we're expecting honorable members to convene here in the public hearing and commence the investigative hearing again. We were told a short while ago that the Speaker of the House of Representatives, Femi Gbajabiamila, was coming to address a media man. We're yet to see him. We also have just behind me here, we have Dr. Cairo Ojugo. He took the seat of the acting MD of the Nddc. That's to tell you that proceedings will soon commence, and public hearing on the investigation will soon continue.
What's the situation of Daniel Ponde at the moment, talking about the acting Nddc, the chair, MD? What is his situation right now? What is the situation of the embattled acting Nddc MD? What is his current health situation right now?
For now, I can't. All right, for now, I can't really confirm his condition. It was actually stabilized here. It came back again. It was a safe. He had a panic attack or so, and it was rushed out. I can't really confirm his condition at this point, but before the public hearing comes to an end, definitely Arise we're going to keep you up to date on that.
Large worry that a lot of people have watching this hearing. Okay, over to you. Thanks, Abel. So I was saying one large problem that a lot of people...
We're having Dr. Cairo Ojugo here. We're live in the nation's capital, Abuja, Arise News. I don't know if you have, what are your initial thoughts on the proceedings of the National Assembly, of this investigative hearing so far?
It is unfortunate where this country is going to. It's most unfortunate. The purpose of this, you have heard my MD speak. The man who is completely innocent. He's been a professor all his life. He was brought in to help this country. And people will come here and start to asking questions that don't make sense. Did any government plan for COVID? How much has the federal government given out for COVID? How much has states given out for COVID? COVID if expenditures are all under emergency. That's what they're asking the man questions for. He is not a technocrat. He is to do the approval. And he's not the person to be asked such questions. It's the technical people who should answer.
What about the 341 million that was allocated or paid to clear points communications?
Did you hear how he explained it? There are 185 local governments in the Niger Delta region. And we have the list of contracts in all the local governments. Normally, some people, when the forensic auditors arrive, they will chase them out of the place. So indigents are appointed as pointers who will stay in the local government. All those jobs that are abandoned, they will go and show them where the site is.
But this was a project that was actually executed by the Nddc. Do you still need locals to pinpoint those projects?
Of course, because most of the people who were there, who awarded the contracts, most of the officials, they had gone. And some will want to hide it. And that is all the problem you are getting here. So when the auditors get there, they will say these contracts are not here. So you must need pointers. And again, the auditors also must have friendly people on the ground who will build synergy for them within the locality. Otherwise, they will not be allowed to enter. And you have to. The problem is this forensic audit. They don't want it.
Now, the honorable members, the panel here, is accusing the Nddc, the IMC, of extra budgetary spending.
There is nothing like that. Because we have submitted a budget for 2020 before the National Assembly. And we are entitled to spend 50% of the 2020 budget, which is where we are spending from. Because 2020 is almost ending. 2019 ended some few days ago. And the Nddc must operate. So they know it, the honorable members, they know it, that in anticipation of the budget that we have submitted, we are allowed to spend 50%. In fact, we are allowed to spend everything in recorded. But we are allowed 50% of the projects. And that's the law.
Thank you very much, Dr. Cairo. Over to you. We've just heard Dr. Cairo Ojogo. He is the Director of Projects in the Niger Delta Development Commission. Over to you, Aaron.
Well, Abel, thank you for those questions that you did pose to him. And let's actually move away from discussing Keke Ponde for a second and look at the matter of social distancing within the National Assembly right now. That is a problem that many have commented on, especially since Mr. Ponde did collapse. Going forward, is the National Assembly going to try and address this? I mean, people are sitting far too close to each other. Masks are not necessarily being worn by everyone either.
If you can repeat your question again.
Can you hear me now, Abel?
Your questions, please. Yeah, very well.
Okay, great. I was talking to you about the lack of social distancing that we observed ever since Professor Keke Ponde collapsed in the National Assembly. Going forward, how is this going to be addressed? Because it is a problem that we are looking at live on television right now.
If I heard you correctly, you were talking about social distancing, and yes, there is actually a very, very big problem in this area when it comes to the social distancing and observing the measures that the NCDC has already put in place to mitigate the spread of coronavirus. The place is stuffy, very, very hot. The air conditioners aren't functioning, and things here, as it stands, are very, very hot. But we've seen Sergeant at Arms here in the National Assembly coming out with lots of standing fans, probably to bring down the temperature of the room and probably see that more social distancing measures are observed here.
All right, Abel, I will just I know certainly you might not have control over this, but certainly I know that there are rooms, major points in the National Assembly for House Committee hearings and the likes. Why that particular room if the air conditioning is not functioning in that room? Or is this all around the National Assembly or the House of Representatives wing?
Yeah, I think that would be a question for the National Assembly management to really respond to. Normally, we have other rooms, other public hearing rooms where we have the air conditioning functioning, but I really can't say why this particular hearing room, the air conditioning in this hearing room isn't functioning. I think the technical guys in the National Assembly will really be looking out for that and probably work on it. And I think it has also been brought to the notice of the management of the National Assembly to really look into that and fix it quickly.
All right, correspondent Abel Ejikeme, thank you very much.